probably did not expect was the eventual dominance the aliens would have in our skies and under our Earth. UFOs are presently everywhere, some just watching the people on Earth, some abducting people and mutilating animals. But what is getting more and more obvious is that the presence can no longer be contained. After having met some of these aliens, former President Theodore Roosevelt demanded "In God We Trust" be imprinted on all of our currency of the United States. In 1965, one of the conspiratorial reasons for the assassination of President John F. Kennedy was because he wanted a full government disclosure to be given to the public on aliens from the other worlds visiting ours, the Martians, the aliens on the moon. He wanted a full government disclosure given to the public, and it was one of the reasons they killed him. In 1984, President Reagan tried to muster congressional support for a Star Wars Initiative self-defense program, most of us know it as SDI, and he knew about the threat of the aliens in our solar system and on our Earth. And it had nothing to do with, security of the United States as much as it did coming up with some kind of a defense system against these aliens themselves. Although a lot of information has been uncovered about these joint alien human underground bases, the space stations and projects, there's even more disinformation out there. They try to debunk and discredit anyone or anything that has legitimate info that comes out speaking publicly about these things existing. Peter Jennings' facade show last week goes to show you how far they'll go to keep their part of the agreement, to debunk and discredit and deny the aliens' existence here, because that's all they do. And then Project Blue Book, which was started by the United States Air Force to handle initial inquiries into the questions people had of what they were seeing in the skies and aliens here, and it was all designed to debunk anything that anybody had seen. They would tell them it was weather balloons or whatever excuse they could come up with at the time. And so it's always been official policy of the government to deny. Many of the lies being told today is for a specific reason about this whole thing. Lucifer is pushing his agenda to be accepted as God on earth in stages. One of the ways he's doing it is to have his forces posed as ascended masters and speak to humans through what is known as channeling, to inform the public itself on the paranormal, the occult, UFOs, earth changes, because they want to hurt and brainwash the people into believing aliens from outer space are our forefathers and creators. They're creating the foundation for the biggest deception that's ever been perpetrated on mankind, and that these aliens are our creators. And so I don't know why the government continues on with denial of the presence here, besides the fact that they have treaties that declare that's what they have to do. But these aliens also are working their own agenda. You can see them all over the internet, and I have articles on the games the aliens play on the internet about some of the deceptions and the games that they play, and I've got 2 articles on that. But one of the things they're doing is trying to I guess you could say, assimilate with people more and more on the internet as ascended masters. They want us to believe that they're our forefathers and creators, and that through Planet Nibiru, Planet X, they're coming back to help us because we're destroying Earth, we're making a mess of it. What they don't tell you is that's the entrance of this Nibiru into our solar system that's causing so much havoc on our Earth. They're going to, there you go, create and then present a solution. They're causing the chaos, and they're going to present their own solution. But that's one of the things that they're going to do is to discredit the Bible, to discredit the Most High God, is to claim that we're test tube creations, that they created us in test tubes, and that they're coming back, and that they're our creators. Definitely a big agenda on their side that they're working to do. And you'll see it with these indigo kids, these hybrids now. They're calling them the star children. I think they're nothing more than alien and human hybrids. And, there's a lot of hybridization going on right now that has assimilated into our society because of all these abductions of females has resulted in the inbreeding and hybridization of thousands, perhaps maybe even millions of beings being born that are half alien, half human now. In the book of Daniel, we read that the last nation, look at the toes of the image that Daniel had, the vision, and it was iron mixed with miry clay. and I've said it before in my Watch Your Foul site, I'll say it again, that is an alien nation. You know, the iron being the aliens, the clay being humans, and America's going to be an alien nation. And that was part of that, the last predominant, powerful kingdom on earth was going to be a mixed hybrid nation. And that's pretty much what we're having here in America today. As I said before, these aliens are not extraterrestrial beings from millions of miles away or other galaxies. That's a lie. There are so much occupied distant planets and stars, but they are mostly subterranean. They live within the hollow earth and parts of our solar system. They did not create us. The only thing they could accomplish to create was the ape man, cavemen, and those no longer even exist. Even the animals that they managed to attempt to create, those were destroyed in judgment at the flood. You know, the Bible explicitly tells us that Satan is the prince and the power of the air. It tells us about demons, hell, hybrids, the Nephilim, and the Anunnaki. It also tells us how Satan came back to corrupt earth after its recreation, and eventually will be worshipped as God on this earth. And so it is coming. He will be worshipped here as God. You know, Satan was the cause of the earth's previous destruction, and he will be the cause of it again as he raced into the last days prophesied in the book of Revelation and other passages of Scripture from the prophets. He's once again going to be the cause for the entire earth to rebel against the Most High God. He's going to use his puppet associate, what the Bible refers to as the false prophet, to demand the world worship him as God. You know, the fallen angels, after seeing what the Lord created in Adam and Eve, have never stopped trying to mimic that creation, never been able to succeed either. The Lord destroyed that rebellion when they came down to earth to try to destroy his creation, the Garden of Eden, destroyed them with the flood. And he will be back to destroy their mess once again at the second coming of Christ. You know, this whole thing that Lucifer, that he created going pre-Adamic, with the intergalactic trade and all this, and this deception of the angels back then, is pretty much the same thing. Lucifer likes economics, okay, and so he likes the New World Order. He's going to be very much involved with changing the economics of our world system into what he tried to get going back before his rebellion caused the Earth's initial destruction, in some kind of economic trade. And you'll see their agenda, peace and prosperity agendas. I've talked about Nasera. Was talking about Nasera with Dr. Stan Monteith earlier this week on Wednesday. With 4 minutes and 52 seconds into the interview, everybody got cut off, and then it was dead. And the only people that actually got to hear the interview were those who had satellite and shortwave radios. But the interview is now on my site. Go to my websites and listen to that. You know, there are two governments occupying the United States of America today, and I want to get into this for a little bit and show you some of this about the real government, elected government, as opposed to the shadow government working alongside it. First, we have the traditional government established by our founding fathers, founded upon the Constitution and an elected government. And then we have the fascist Bavarian, Illuminati-backed underground, or what we call shadow government, which is led by the corporate, military, industrial government, which is fighting against traditional America on its own soil. In other words, the two sectors are the Judeo-Christian-based Constitutional Republic of America and the Luciferian cult-based socialist empire of Bavaria, known as the Bavarians or the Illuminati. And the thing is that this part used to be the shadow government, and right now we're seeing them come to the forefront. They have replaced our elected government. The last two elections have been stolen. We no longer have an elected form of government. They have taken over the elected form of government. It is the Bavarians, the Illuminatis, who are ruling America today. You know, perhaps as early as 1776 is when all this started. You know, a coup d'etat was underway by the Illuminati secret societies to undermine, overpower, and take over the traditional form of government in America to establish